Hello friends, hopefully you people already go through my first video of polynomial and it is clear to you now. If it is not clear, then please mention in the comment box. I can clarify it more detail. So coming to the second part of the video, in this part of this video we are going to solve different numericals which are taken from any NCERT textbook. So you should watch this video with your copy and pen and try to solve the numerical along with me. And if you people like this video, then please do like and subscribe my video and give me more support to shoot lots of like these videos. Okay, let's move on again. Marker and go on. Okay, now coming to next part, that is remainder theorem. So remainder theorem, already we know that remainder theorem is nothing but that dividend is equals to divisor multiplied with quotient plus remainder. That we know very well. Now that same theorem also can be adapted for the polynomial. Okay, very easily. So that polynomial, if you can basically you can prove that particular theorem for a polynomial like this. Suppose a polynomial x plus 2 and it is going to divide polynomial anything, suppose 3x square minus 5x plus 7. Now if we divide it in a similar manner, whatever we know for a division process. So first 3x will go 3x into x, 3x square, because it is matching, that's why. And 3x plus multiplied with plus 2, it will give you 6x. So that way minus minus, both of them will be cancelled. Minus 11x plus 7, it will come down. Similarly minus 11 will go, so minus 11x plus minus 22, so it will give you, it will be plus, so it will give you 29. So similar fashion you can now write it like this way, that 3x square, that means the dividend 3x square minus 5x plus 7, that dividend is equals to divisor into quotient. So divisor is nothing but x plus 2 and the quotient is nothing but 3x minus 11 plus remainder, that is 29. So if you just simplify that right hand side, you can easily get this particular thing. So that way you can prove very easily that remainder theorem is also applicable for any polynomial. Okay. So suppose for any kind of polynomial, the general form, if you put the general form of this theorem, if you write general form, so it will be look like this. Suppose px, it is a polynomial, it can be written like this: x minus a qx. Qx is also a polynomial r. Here we can say that px is nothing but dividend, x minus a is nothing but divisor, qx is nothing but quotient, and r is nothing but remainder. Okay, but here we should mention one thing, that px, or rather say degree of px must be greater than equal to degree of qx. That means the dividend degree, that means this one is x square dividend degree, and the divisor degree is only 1, so that always should be there, that divisor degree must be less than equal to than the dividend degree. It should keep it in your mind. Okay. Sorry. So that way the remainder theorem can be used to solve different problems. Suppose one problem should be mentioned over here to clear the things. Like you are told that x cube minus ax square plus 6x minus a, it is divided by x minus a. Okay, you are told so, and find the remainder. That is the problem. Basically, I have chosen the problem from NCERT textbook. So, exercise of NCERT textbook I have chosen. So, just to solve this kind of problem, that when the dividend is given and the divisor is also given, you have to find the remainder. So, what do you have to do? So, when you are asked that remainder find karna hai, that means this part you have to find out. Okay. So, the process is very simple. The process is that if you find the zero values of the divisor, if you find the zeros value for the divisor part, so what will happen if the divisor getting 0? Then 0 multiplied with something, it will be, whole part will be 0, divisor multiplied with quotient. If the divisor is getting 0, then the product of these two part, divisor and quotient, it will be becoming 0, isn't it? So if you find the 0 value of the divisor, then that 0 value of the divisor, if you put on the dividend again, that will give you the remainder, isn't it? Just watch this equation. If you are asked to find the remainder, then just find the 0 value of the divisor, and that 0 value of the divisor you can put on the dividend again. So when this part is becoming 0, so dividend will give you some value based on the divisor 0 value, and that will be equal to the remainder obviously. So the process is simple like this. First, find the 0 value for this divisor. In this particular case, x minus a is the divisor. So the 0 value, x equals to a, because I told you in our previous video that if you find the 0 value, if you try to find out the 0 value, then you have to make it equal to 0. So to get zeros of divisor, I am making it equal to 0, so that will x equals to a, that will be the 0 value for the divisor. Now put this value on dividend. It's very easy process. If you put it, what it will give you? Obviously, if x equals to a is substituted over here, so that will give you a cube minus a into a square plus 6a minus a, and obviously it will be giving you a cube minus a cube, it will be cancelled, it will be giving you 5a. So this one is nothing but the remainder. Why? Because already we have seen in this particular relationship, if the divisor value is getting 0 or getting nullified, so divisor cross with quotient, it will be getting 0, and if that 0 value of the divisor is put on the dividend, so something will come from here, and that will be equal to the remainder. So that's why in this particular case 5a will be the remainder. Okay. And second problem, suppose you have to check. One problem is like this: check whether 7 plus 3x is a factor of 3x cube plus 7x. You have to check it. How it can be checked? Obviously, we all know that if this one is a factor of that one, so it will be completely divisible. That means there is no remainder at all, isn't it? If there is no remainder, that means 7 plus 3x is a multiple of 3x cube plus 7x, or rather say completely divisible. That means there is no remainder. Got it? So in this particular case, we are doing the same thing. If we find that zero value of the divisor, in this particular divisor is this one, because you can see that x degree is 1, here x degree is 3. So from here we know that dividend degree must be greater than the divisor degree. So if you find the zero value for this divisor part, and if you put that zero value on this particular dividend part, and if it is giving you also 0, that means there is no remainder, isn't it? So do the process again. So first step will be find 0 of this particular polynomial 7x plus 3x. So if you want to find out 0, so 7 plus 3x will be equal to 0, and that way you are getting x equals to minus 7 by 3. That will be the 0 value of this particular divisor. Now put this 0 value, put on the 3x cube plus 7x. So if you put this x value over here, so 3 into minus 7 by 3 whole cube plus 7x, and if you do solve it, you can see that it will be something like, it will produce something like this: 49 cross 7 by 9 minus 49 by 3, and obviously it is not equals to 0. If it is not equals to 0, then obviously there must be some remainder. If it is a factor, then it will be equals to 0. If it is not equals to 0, then obviously some remainder is there. If you solve it, it will give you some remainder value. Okay, I am not going to find out that thing. Just I am asked that if it is a factor or not, and I have checked that if it is not coming equal to 0, so I can say it is not a factor. That is the verdict we can pull down over here. Okay, so that way we can check, is it a factor or not. If it will, suppose if I consider that this one is a factor of that one, so that point of time, if you put this x value onto that particular dividend, it will produce you, or it will give you 0. If it is giving you 0, then obviously it is a factor. Got it? Now moving to next part. Basically that polynomial chapter is a big one, so that way I should clear each of the topic here. Then the next topic coming over here, that is how to factorize, that is factorization of polynomial. So factorization can be done. One theorem is there, that is using factor theorem. You can use that one. So factor theorem is nothing but, it is very easy, that suppose px is a polynomial and whose degree is 1, or rather say greater than equals to 1. Greater than equals to 1 means it can be linear polynomial, or it can be more than linear polynomial, like it can be quadratic, it can be cubic. Okay, but it cannot be a constant. Okay. And we also consider a, which is a real number. Then we can say that x minus a is a factor of px if pa equals to 0, or rather say we can say it in reverse manner, that pa equals to 0 if x minus a is a factor of px. Is the reverse one, just the reverse one of this one. If it is a very complicated, I can make it easy for you people, like taking an example. Suppose taking an example, px is a polynomial which is like this: x cube minus 4x square plus x plus 6. It is a polynomial. And gx, suppose it is also a polynomial which is x minus 3. Okay, two different polynomial we have, this one px and this one gx. Now if gx is a factor, so we can say that check it out. Suppose you are getting 3 cube minus 4 into 3 square plus 3 plus 6, and it will give you 27 minus 36 plus 3 plus 6, and it will be giving you 0. Now while you are getting 0 value, then you can say that gx, hence we can say that gx is a factor of px. If it is do not produce that 0, apart of 0 anything will come over here, then we can say gx is not a factor of px. Understood? I think now it is very clear to you people what is factorization of polynomial using factor theorem. Now moving to next topic, we are going to see over here the algebraic identities. Different algebraic identities we know already, like suppose this one x plus a, x plus b, it can be written like x square a plus b into x plus ab. These formulae basically are very frequently used to solve different polynomial factorization process. So that's why these formulae are very important to keep in your mind. You can get very easily all these formulae from any textbook. So this formulae we are going to use to solve different problems. I am not going to write all those formulas, you can get them very easily from any textbook. So just I am trying to solve different exercise problem from NCERT textbook. Like a problem which is look like, suppose factorize, or rather say expand. One problem is like this: expand this one 1 by 4a minus 1 by 2b plus 1 whole square. Now you are asked to expand this expression. So how can it be done? It's very easy. Just consider any two term as like as one variable. It can be assumed as x or y or z. Okay, just I am splitting that expression like this manner. You can choose a different one also, like I am taking this part as one term and this part one is different second term, first term, second term. So it can be splitted like a plus b or x plus y whole square. So it can be written like this way. I think it is very easy for you people to understand that 2 into a by 4 minus b by 2 plus 1. It's very easy. A plus or x plus y whole square. So x square plus 2xy plus y square. So that thing I have written over here, that a by 4 minus b by 2, that is I am taking as first term. So first term square plus 2 into first term into second term. Second term is 1, I haven't written over here. So plus 1 square, so it will be 1. So if you simplify that whole expression, it will be look like this: a square by 16, ab by 4 plus b square by 4 plus a by 2 minus b plus 1. So if you just arrange it, or it can be written like your answer. So that kind of expansion very frequently come for the exam part. Okay. Now a second problem is look like this: 2x square plus y square plus 8z square minus 2 root 2 xy plus 4 root 2 yz minus 8xz. Suppose this kind of a long factorization is given. Okay, so just notice the whole structure. This structure is very familiar with a particular algebraic identity. Which one you know? I think you can guess that which. I haven't written all those identities over here. You can get all those identities from any textbook. That's why I haven't written all those things. Okay. Suppose just watching this particular expression, I can write this particular thing like x cube plus y cube plus z cube minus 3xyz, and that particular expression can be written like this: x plus y plus z, x square plus y square plus z square minus xy minus yz minus xz, isn't it? This identity actually it is given. You can easily form, if you just cross product this right side expression, you can get this particular left hand side, which is nothing but that. Okay, now see one thing. Just use this particular expression we know, already we know this expression. Now from this expression I can write like this: root 2 x whole square plus y square plus 2 root 2 of z square minus 2 root 2x into y plus 2 into y into 2 root 2z minus 2 root 2 x into 2 root 2z. Check this expression, just it is matching or not. From this particular expression I have just changed that format like this way. You can see that 2x square can be written root 2x whole square. That means root 2 square means 2. Y square keeping same. 8 it can be written like 2 root 2 whole square, isn't it? Then this part 2 root 2xy, see 2 root 2xy. Then 4 root 2yz, see 2 into 2 4 root 2yz. Then 8xz, see 2 root 2 root 2. Root 2 and root 2 means only 2. So 3 2's are there. 2 into 2 into 2, that will 8. And x into z, so minus 8xz will come. So this expression can be written like this. Isn't it? And suppose I am getting that equation, suppose identity we know a plus b minus c whole square. If you expand that particular term, so that expression can be written like this: a square plus b square plus c square plus 2ab minus 2ac minus 2bc. You can expand this term very easily. Just consider that a plus b as a one term and c as second term. Just expand that one, so it will give you that kind of expression. It very easily can be find out. Okay, now just name this equation as equation 1 and this equation as equation 2. Now see, that particular equation can be converted into this particular form. You can see 2 can be written like root 2 square, 8 can be written like 2 root 2 square, then 2 root 2 xy is there, 4 root 2 can be written like 2 into 2 root 2. Similarly 8 can be written like 2 into root 2, 2 into root 2. So root 2 into root 2 will give you root 2. So 2 into 2 into 2, that will 8. Okay, and this formula already we know, a plus b minus c whole square. If you expand this whole thing, so it will be giving you like this expression. You can check it over here. Okay, now just I have to consider that let a is considered as a square, a as considered as y, b as considered as 2 root 2z, and c as considered here root 2x. Because just check this equation 1 and equation 2. See here in this formula, twice ab and the sign is plus, and the plus term is over here. So that term is matching with 2ab. So here you can see that a I have considered y. So that is a and that is b, 2 root 2z. Then minus twice ac. This minus twice ac I can be matched with this part. Because a is y and c is root 2x. So that is coming twice AC, and minus 2bc is matching with this one, because b is 2 root 2z and c is root 2x, so that part is matching with twice bc, minus twice bc. So that's why I am comparing these two equations, considering a as y, b as root 2z, 2 root 2z and c as root 2x. So finally if you compare this, compare equation 1 and 2, so that way I can write a plus b minus c whole square. So a is y plus b is 2 root 2z minus c, that is root 2x, that's whole square. That is the answer. just by observing the given problem, you have to compare or you have to match the formula which one is similarity having with this one. Okay, so going with this another problem like this one. All these problems are from NCERT textbook. They are actually exercise problem, and in NCERT textbook the exercise problems are very good, I think. Suppose this problem is look like this one. Without actual cubing, solve it. 28 cube plus minus 15 cube plus minus 13 cube. So what we are going to do here? Is there any shortcut method to solve it? Just see, there is a cube plus b cube plus c cube, this kind of format is there. And we know one formula, I think it will be still remembered for you. A cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3abc can be written a plus b plus c a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca, isn't it? Or ac you can also write. Alphabetically a will come in front of c. If this formula is known to us, okay, and a very tricky thing is there. If a plus b plus c is 0 in this particular right hand side, then what happens? Then a cube plus b cube plus c cube is nothing but equal with 3abc, isn't it? Because this right hand side whole will be 0. If this part is 0, then the whole right side will be 0. So that is a very important relation we are getting. If a plus b plus c is 0, then a cube plus b cube plus c cube is going to equal with 3abc. Now watch the given problem. That let a is 28, b is minus 15 and c is minus 13. So here we can say that a plus b plus c, that is 28 plus minus 15 plus minus 13, and if you solve it you can see it will be 0. So when this a plus b plus c is 0, then we can say that a cube plus b cube plus c cube is nothing but 3abc. So finally we can write that 28 cube plus minus 15 cube plus minus 13 cube is nothing but 3 into 28 into minus 15 into minus 13. So the product will give you 16380, and that will be the answer. Got it? Some very interesting problem is there in the NCERT textbook, like give possible expressions for length and breadth of the rectangle. Okay, and area is given for a rectangle, like expression is 35y square plus 13y minus 12. Now if the area is given for a rectangle, suppose like this one, area means suppose length is a and breadth is b, so the area will be a cross b. and that is given. Now you are asked to find out that length and breadth. How it can be done? It is very easy concept. If you convert that area in terms of A multiplied with B, then A will be length and B will be breadth. That means you have to factorize that particular expression and you have to convert that expression or a polynomial in terms of two different product of two different polynomials. So just convert that expression 35 square plus 13y minus 12 into product of two different polynomials. So it can be done like this way. It can be done by middle term factor. That means 12 into 3, that will get 12 into 35. Sorry, I have missed one thing. 35y square is there. Sorry guys. 35y square. One y square I have missed. So 12 into 35, it will be giving you 420. So if you just make them some trial error, so you can get easily that for which value that 13 will give you, 13 cups. Okay, so it can be done like this way, middle term factor 35y square plus 28y minus 15y minus 12. So that will be giving you 7y, 5y plus 4 minus 3 taking common, 5y plus 4. Just have taking a common, nothing else. So that will giving you 7y minus 3, 5y plus 4. It can be done in a different way also. Like I am going to solve the same problem in a different way. So suppose the second problem is given, like one area is given, same kind of problem, 25a square minus 35a plus 12 is given area. Now it can be solved like this way also, 5a square minus 5a into 4 plus 3. Check it, 35a can be written like this or not. What I have done, I have for 4 plus 3 it will give you 7. 7 into 5, that will be 35. And here I am writing that 12 into 4 into 3 cross product. Why I am writing this way? Because I am trying to get a formula. I think this formula is known to you, that x minus a product with x minus b, it will giving you x square minus a plus b into x plus ab. I think this formula is known to you. And check this part match with that part. Isn't it the same type, the same structure? X square minus a plus b into x into ab. I am considering in this particular case 5a as x and a assumed as 4 and b assumed as 3. Check this line and compare with that line. They are in same manner. So I can write this particular, let x equals to 5a and a equals to 4 and b equals to 3. So that way hence we can write 5a minus 4 and 5a minus 3, because x minus a and x minus b are two forms. X is 5a, a is 4, so 5a minus 4 and x minus b, that is 5a minus 3, that will be the answer. Or you can do the same process by doing some middle term factor, because that same problem can be solved by middle term factor. 25 multiplied with 12 and get get the value, doing the same middle term factor, it will give you the same answer. Understood? Again, now one problem I should complete with the problem which is look like this one. I am ending this polynomial topic with this particular problem, which is look like this: x cube plus 13x square plus 32x plus 20. Now you have to solve it. Okay, so it can be solved in this way. Particularly, I named this like a vanishing method. So, suppose let this polynomial as px is this one. So just find a value by doing trial error based on which that polynomial becoming 0. I am getting that p of -1. If you put the -1 value instead of x, you can get that value will be 0. So that way I can say that x plus 1 is a factor because it giving the value of 0. Now you can solve it like this way, like x cube plus 13x square plus 32x, writing the same line again. Keep one line blank and write the third line like this way, that write the factor. Which factor? For that factor which is getting value 0. Okay. So x plus 1 I have written, and how much should be multiplied with this factor to get this x cube? Obviously x square. So x square, if you multiply it with this one, so write it over here now, x cube plus x square. I am writing now x plus 1 once more. Now check, x square is being given already come, and you have to get 13x square. So how much you should add it? 12x. 12x should be added because 12x multiplied with 12x square. Now do the process and write over here 12x square. 12x into x square, and 12x into 1, it will give you 12x. So I have just written the third line, then doing the second line. That's a very tricky method. I named it as a vanishing method. Okay, because that x equals to -1, that polynomial getting 0. That's why x plus 1 is a factor. Okay. Though 12x is come there, already been present there. Now I need to achieve 32x. So x plus 1 again coming over here. So 12x, and you need more 20x. 12x, if it is added with 20x, then you are getting 32x. So in that order, 20 should be multiplied over here. So 20 into x, write it over here, 20x. 20 into 1, it will be matched with 20. See, 20, 20 matched. Now, just I have splitted this whole expression in this order. See. But you cannot write this second line, or you cannot form this second line in that particular manner. That's why get the third line first, then go to the reverse way to get the second line. That's a very easy method. Then take x plus 1 is the common factor, because x plus 1, x plus 1, x plus 1, all these three terms having x plus 1. So in between bracket it will be x square plus 12x plus 20. Now again you can do factorize x plus 1, and this part 20 can be splitted to get 12. So that way 10 plus 2 you can split like this, 10x plus 2x plus 20. So that will give you x plus 1, x plus 10 and x plus 2, and these three factors can be produced from that particular given problem. So that way we are come to the end of that particular chapter, which is known as polynomial. I think from the basic, if you go through the videos, it will be crystal clear to you. If there is any kind of confusion for you people, then please comment me, or if you like those videos, then please do like and subscribe. Okay, so thank you people for now. Going to the next topic. Bye.